Chapter 4.2 Addendum 2 Theory Section. Logical Note. This section can be glossed over if desired. The purpose of the section is to demonstrate to those interested that the subject of the goals package rests upon a firm logical foundation. The subject of logic rests upon two fundamental axioms. 1. The common class of a concept and its absence does not exist. X 1 minus x end equals 0. This equation is only satisfied when x is either 0 or unity. Thus, in the algebra of classes, which is Boolean algebra, also known as symbolic logic, the symbols can only have the value of 0 or unity. 2. The universe can be divided into any concept and its absence. X plus 1 minus x end equals 1. End parenthesis. From these two basic axioms all other logical propositions are derived. One of these propositions states that the types of possible classes that can exist with two concepts, x, y, are 4. Their sum equals the universe or unity. xy plus x 1 minus y plus y 1 minus x plus 1 minus x 1 minus y equals 1. Any high school student can, by extending out the left-hand side of the above equation, discover that it does in fact equal unity. Any goals package contains two concepts. These plus their absences, negatives, constitute the four legs of the package. The to-know package is such a package. If we represent to know by x, and to be known by y, we can see from the above equation regarding two concepts, that the four possible classes are xy. This is the class to know, and to be known. These are complementary postulates, and are a no-game class. x1y. This is the class to know, and to not be known. These are conflicting postulates, and are a game class. y1x. This is the class to be known, and to not know. These are conflicting postulates, and are a game class. 1x, 1y. This is the class to not know, and to not be known. These are complementary postulates, and are a no-game class. The sum of these four classes is the totality of the universe of the two concepts, to know and to be known. Within these four classes, then, the whole subject of knowing and being known is contained. When we consider each of these four classes from the viewpoint of self and others, we arrive at 2 times 4 equals 8 classes. When we consider each of these 8 classes from the viewpoint of origin and receipt, we arrive at 2 times 8 equals 16 classes. These 16 classes are the 16 levels we find when we examine the to-know goals package. We can equally, of course, cut the universe into any two purposes in the form to and to be, and arrive at the same conclusion, namely, that the whole universe of the two concepts is within that package. Thus, we have proven within the rigors of strict logical reasoning that any goals package contains the full universe of its component concepts, and that no part of life is external to the package. In the language of the mathematician, the 16 levels of the goals package are necessary and sufficient for our purposes. All 4 legs of a goals package hold each other in suspension in the mind. No goal in a goals package can be erased, vanished from the mind without also erasing the other 3 goals in the package. Thus, a goals package is the smallest unit that can be erased from the mind. To attempt to erase any purpose from the mind without also erasing the other 3 purposes in its package is merely an exercise in futility. For example, a man has a compulsion to drink. He will never be free of his compulsion to drink until he is also free of his compulsions to not drink, to be drunk, and to not be drunk. They are addressed as a set, and they erase as a set. The oppositions in any goals package are in the same form as the oppositions in the to-know package. The complementary postulates in any goals package are in the same form as the complementary postulates in the to-know package. However, the purpose of the goal may embrace more than one leg of the to-know package. For example, you can grow something in order to be known as a grower. You can grow something in order to know what it looks like when it's grown. You can grow a privet hedge in order to not know the view of the local gasworks. You can grow a privet hedge in order to be not known by your neighbors. Thus it is an error to try and draw a one-to-one correspondence between the legs of a goals package and the legs of the to-know package. Life knows no such limitations. This universe is a universe of purposes, either complementary or conflicting. While viewed as such, it is possible to understand it. If viewed in any other manner, it forever remains a mystery. What we regard as an object in the universe only consists of purposes. It is held in existence by its own internal conflict of purposes. It is a highly compressed goals package. As the basic goals package is to know, every object in the universe can only basically consist of this package. Within this truth lies the key to vanishing unwanted universe objects. All goals packages are within the basic package, to know. Why then, may it be necessary to address other junior packages on the route out? Simply because a being may not clearly perceive that any given purpose in life is a method of achieving one or other of the legs of the basic package. Once he perceives this regarding a given purpose, the charge that has upset on that purpose vanishes and reappears in the to-know package. While he does not perceive this, the charge remains in the junior package. It is a truism of psychotherapy that a patient can only be helped within the structure of his own convictions. Or, as they say, you can only help him where he lives. One could, of course, by means of the technique of listing the purpose of a purpose, eventually get the patient to realize that the purpose bothering him was really one or other of the legs of the to-know package. However, this is not desirable, and no matter how smoothly achieved, will leave the patient feeling as if he's been deprived of something, which he has. He's been deprived of the other purpose. Far better to address the junior purpose in the context of its own package. When you do this, it very often happens that the junior package suddenly collapses at the instant when the patient realizes that the purpose in question is only a method of achieving one or other of the legs of the basic package. All residual charge will then leave the junior package and reappear in the basic packages where, of course, it truly belongs. However, junior packages, being complete in themselves, will also erase in their own right quite independently of the basic package. The legs of a junior package must bear the same relation to each other as do the legs of the basic package. Otherwise the package is not a true package and will never erase. For example, the complementary goal of to free is to be free, not to be freed. Some care is always required in formulating the exact wording of junior packages. When a junior package is not erasing cleanly, the most common fault is that the package is not a true package. This is known as cross-packaging. It is one of the deadly sins. When two or more junior packages are crossed up into one package, neither of the packages will erase, and the whole mishmash just grinds on, forever. The therapist who tries to resolve a man's drinking problem by addressing his infantile sex life, is guilty of cross-packaging. This is why the therapy goes on forever with no relief for the patient. Indeed, the basic way to confuse a being is to cross-package him. Much thought has been given to this gentle art in the history of the universe, and the most confusing things that have ever happened to beings have been overt attempts to cross-package them, all under the guise of education, of course. Once cross-packaged, the being is stuck within the crossed-up packages forever. The primary method of enslaving spiritual beings that has been used in the universe has been cross-packaging. It is infinitely more effective than the use of rubber truncheons. So make sure that the legs of your junior packages bear exactly the same relation to each other as do the legs of the basic package. Only then will they erase. Check that the complementary postulates are indeed complementary, and that the opposing postulates are exact oppositions. This can only be done empirically, on the basis of cold, hard logic. To do it any other way is to court disaster. One may have a strong gut feeling that the goal to eat is opposed by the goal to not be edible, however logic tells us that the correct opposition is to not be eaten. The difference between the package cleanly erasing and grinding on forever is to be found within such fine shades of meaning. Nowhere in life do you have to be more precise than in this area of composing junior goals packages. Erasure is vanishment. When a goals package has been erased from the mind, it is gone. Literally. All four legs have vanished. It has not been suppressed, repressed, or any other type of pressed. It has neither been adjusted to, or not adjusted to. It has gone. Even the concepts contained within the package have to be consciously created by the being before they exist. You can hunt in the mind forever with lie detectors, skin galvanometers, and other such devices, and find no trace of the component legs of an erased goals package. Thus, the concept of erasure is a psychotherapist's dream. It is also a nightmare to those who hold a mechanistic view of the mind, and maintain that, once an impression is made on the mind, it is in that mind forever. Faced with the phenomena of erasure, they either don't believe it, tear up their textbooks and acknowledge that they were in error, or jump out of sixth-story windows taking their textbooks with them, depending upon their mental stability and general willingness to change their minds about such things. A goals package is the smallest unit that can be erased from the mind. Hence, when something erases from the mind, some goals package or other has been erased. This can, and does happen in general psychotherapy, and accounts for the miracle cures we sometimes read about. Partial erasure of a goals package is called nulling that package. Nulling a package reduces the intensity of the compulsive games conditioned between the legs of the package. If a goals package can be nulled, it can also be erased. Are we then free to take any purpose, formulate it into a goals package, and proceed to erase it from the mind? No. We are not free to do this for every purpose. To understand why this is so, we have to examine the basic urge of life in this universe. In this universe, life is endeavoring to be. It is endeavoring to exist. The purest expression of this urge is contained within the to-be-known leg of the basic package. This is true of all life in the universe, right down to the cellular, bacterial and virus levels. Goals which further or enhance this basic urge can be formulated into goals packages and will erase. They are called life goals. Goals which oppose this basic purpose, when formulated into goals packages, will not erase. They are called non-life goals. An examination of the basic package also reveals that the goal which most furthers and enhances the to-be-known leg is the goal to know, the complementary goal in this package. Thus, to know most furthers and enhances life's basic urge in the universe. Thus, a life goal is defined as one which is not opposed to the to-be-known leg of the basic package. Thus, a non-life goal is defined as one which is opposed to the to-be-known leg of the basic package. Non-life goals, upon examination, will invariably be found to be part of the negative legs of life goal packages. For example, the goal to hinder is clearly totally within the to not help leg of the to help package. Non-life goals can only be erased from the mind by erasing the life goal package in which they are contained. This limitation upon the formulation of goals packages is put on us by the nature of this universe, and the purpose of life within it. It is not a limitation of method, but a limitation imposed upon us by the basic agreements and nature of the universe itself. The reason why non-life goals packages do not erase is because the goal upon which they are based is opposed to the basic urge of life in the universe, not due to some quirk in people's minds. The fact that non-life goals packages do not erase is extremely powerful evidence supporting the theory of life's basic urge in the universe. One could wax very moralistic about all this, and point to non-life goals as being original sin or some such, and use it as a platform to assert the way to the good and pure life. One is, of course, free to do this. And it is true that a spiritual being gets himself into all the trouble it's possible to get into in the universe, by adopting non-life goals as a total way of life. And, in so doing, he can also make the life of those around him a misery too. However, no matter how much we moralize and point the finger, the truth is that some people have become convinced that the only way to live is to base their life upon non-life goals, and they will continue to do so until they change these convictions. The problem boils down to a problem in therapy, not a problem in morality, for only therapy can change their convictions, without overwhelming them, and so, driving them further into the trap. As for the majority, this therapy can be completed by themselves in their own homes at no cost to themselves except their own time. We see this as the optimum solution to the problem. Once a life goals package has been erased, all the non-life goals to be found within its negative legs will also be found to be erased. For example, once the to help goals package has been erased, the to hinder package, and all similar packages to be found within the negative legs of this life goal, will also be erased. The more fundamental a life goals package is, the more non-life goals are to be found within its negative legs. Thus, the to know package, being the basic package, contains all possible non-life goals within its negative legs. It also contains, of course, all possible life goals within its positive legs. The general rule of therapy is to address the most fundamental life goal that will produce change in the being when addressed. From this rule is derived the rule that we always address the basic package first, and stay with that package as long as it produces change. We only leave the package when it ceases to produce change in the being, and then only temporarily until it can once more be run gainfully. The main purpose of addressing junior packages is to permit the basic package to be run gainfully. This is purely a matter of the most efficient use of therapy time. Life contains a near infinity of significances, and we are addressing all of them when we address the basic package. To address a junior package, while the basic package can be addressed gainfully, is a non-optimum use of therapy time. Knowing the nature of life's basic urge in this universe, it should come as no surprise to us to learn that non-life goals packages not only never erase, but produce a steady worsening of the state of the being while erasure is being attempted. It's not that they just grind on forever, like cross-packaged life goals do, never nulling and never erasing, but they actually produce a marked worsening in the state of the being. And there is no relief from this worsening. If the non-life goals package is persisted with, it would eventually lead to the demise of the by now thoroughly demented and tormented being. One either does this right or it will kill you. There is no middle path. I could not stress this fact too strongly. I've walked to the gates of hell, researching non-life goals packages on myself to discover this truth, and there's no need for others to repeat the torture on themselves. We have, within the technology of the goals package, the power to give a being either life or death. All coins have two sides. The non-life goals package is the other side of the coin called life. However, such is the power of the basic package to know that it will actually repair the ravages brought about by running non-life goals packages. If this were not so, I would not be writing this now. But I only caught it in the nick of time. You may not be so fortunate. If you wish to play with non-life goals packages while the life goals packages are still heavily charged, there is a very precise way to go about it. Contact your local undertaker and get him to deliver you a coffin. Stay in the coffin and address non-life goals packages. Then your next of kin will only have to screw the lid down when you expire. They won't have long to wait. I can give you the basic non-life goals package. I give it to you so that you can avoid it. A spiritual being cannot be destroyed. He can only be degraded. And he has been degraded. He's been degraded so much that the urge to degrade can beat strongly in his breast. Life on this planet is being constantly degraded by those who deny that it is basically a spiritual quality, and insist that it is basically mud. The whole philosophy of materialism is a direct degradation of life. Its purveyors, themselves degraded to the point of being convinced that they are no more than mud, take a perverse joy in trying to drag others down into the ooze. Most of the education a spiritual being has ever received in this universe has been an overt attempt to degrade him, to strip him of his native spiritual qualities. For while he is cognizant of his true spiritual nature, he is considered infinitely dangerous to those who wish to use him for their own ends. The 2D grade goals package, when formulated and used, is one very hot non-life goals package. It will soon have you scraping agony off the walls of every torture chamber this side of Galaxy 4. And that is only for starters. Very soon death is regarded as a welcome release. The whole of the 2D grade package is within the negative legs of the 2 enhanced package. This life package, when erased, also erases the 2D grade package, amongst others. And this erasure is achieved painlessly. Once achieved, the 2D grade package can be run with impunity. It has no more charge left in it than a piece of dead codfish. I trust that you are getting the message. Such is the power of the 2D grade postulate in the universe these days that the basic upset in any person's life is invariably an overt attempt to degrade them by others. It is usually in early childhood, or even infancy. The incident is so abhorrent to the being that he rapidly shuts it out of mind, not know, and by adolescence it is no longer a part of his or her conscious recalls. Yet the incident continues to have a profound effect upon the being for the remainder of that lifetime, and colors his physical, emotional and intellectual approach to everything he does. By addressing the 2 enhanced goals package in the form of the 8 classes of overts and motivators, just as given for the 2 no package earlier, any psychotherapist could rapidly spring this basic lifetime degradation into view and permit its re-evaluation to present time, that is, now, realities. Such an action would be enormously therapeutic to the patient, and would result in a betterment of their whole personality. Such are some of the applications of this technology in the field of psychotherapy. The same results can of course be achieved by a person running solo on the exercises given in the practical section. The basic law of this universe states that it's only possible to know those things which have been brought into existence to be known. From this law it follows that those things which have been brought into existence to be known are ipso facto considered knowable. This means that the universe imposes upon us a willingness to know those things we bring into existence to be known. While we function inside this law, we can play games in this universe with impunity. However, once we try and function outside of this law, the universe becomes a trap. The trap is, of course, our ignorance of the basic law of the universe, not something intrinsic in the nature of the universe itself. This means that it's quite safe to create any effect in this universe as long as one is willing to know the effect one has created. Once one loses sight of this law, one becomes trapped. Trapped where? Trapped within the basic 2 no goals package. And, of course, trapped within the universe itself. As all junior goals packages are within the basic package, they too follow the same basic law. For example, the 2 free package. It's not possible to be free without being willing to free others. This aspect of the basic law of the universe is called the law of the complementary postulate. It states, to adopt any postulate in a goals package while being unwilling to adopt its complementary postulate leads to entrapment in that goals package. The only entrapment this universe contains is violation of the law of the complementary postulate. Bear this law in mind as you erase goals packages. Thus we can always measure the degree of entrapment in a goals package, and the intensity of the game's condition between the legs of the package, by discovering how willing the being is to adopt the complementary legs of the package. For example, the 2 control package. The positive complementary legs of this package are, to control, and to be controlled. Entrapment in this package is indicated when one of those postulates is preferred to the other. As the package erases, of course, this imbalance lessens and finally vanishes, at which time the being is equally willing to occupy any of the 4 legs of the package. Of course, an imbalance in the positive complementary legs of a package also produces an equal and opposite imbalance in the negative complementary legs of the package. One may wonder if we can get round the limitation of non-life goals packages being unerasable by addressing them in a negative form. For example, to hate is a non-life goal, for to hate is totally within the to not know leg of the to know package. One does not wish to know those things that one hates, and is therefore opposed to the to be known leg. Would not, then, the goal to not hate be erasable when formulated into a package? The answer is no. This can be proven empirically. The conclusion has been verified by testing. It can be proven empirically by an application of Boolean algebra, or even by formal logical reasoning. Given that the class to hate is within the class to not know, it follows that the class to not hate contains within it all the class to know, plus some of the class to not know. Therefore, some of the class to not hate is opposed to the class to be known. Thus, to not hate is also a non-life goal, and its package will not erase. In life, one does not get out of the trap of hating by adopting a policy of not hating. This is true for the negative legs of all non-life goals. Their packages do not erase, and in life one does not become free of them by adopting their negatives. Only life goals are erasable from the mind. None of the legs of non-life goals packages can be formulated into erasable packages. The negative legs of life goal packages, when formulated into goals packages, also will not erase. This much is obvious from first principles, but has also been verified by testing. When we violate the basic law of the universe in formulating goals packages, the packages never erase and are intensely non-therapeutic. When we try and live our lives in this universe on the basis of non-life goals, or their negatives, we become further and further entrapped in compulsive games play, and in the universe itself. Once trapped within a goals package, whether a life or a non-life package, it is incredibly difficult to get out of this trap by living this alone. The being moves compulsively from one leg of the package to the next, round and round, like a tennis ball bouncing inside a box. He endlessly tries to get relief from the agony that every leg eventually becomes, by adopting a new leg, only to find that that leg in turn sooner or later becomes agonizing. No matter how he twists and turns and struggles, he is trapped within the box, within the goals package. Is it so surprising that some eventually go insane, and retreat to private hells of their own manufacture? A hell that is only slightly less agonizing than life has become. There may be a relief for some, by adopting the philosophy of the world's great spiritual leaders. For example, Christ's message, love thy neighbor as thyself. But for the many, they are simply unable to use these routes, to get out of the trap that life for them has become. They are far too enmeshed in the trap, to be able to get out of the trap by changing their mode of life and thought. Their compulsive thoughts governs their behavior. Their compulsive behavior governs their thoughts. They are trapped forever in the universe. This is literally true, for when the basic law, governing the game of this universe was dreamed up, no arrangements were made to ever bring the universe to an end. Why should they be made? Do children, left to themselves, ever put a time limit to their own playtime? The only release for the majority, from the trap this universe has become for them, is to methodically take apart the trap they have made for themselves. This universe was never designed as a trap, but it most certainly becomes one when one acts in it in ignorance of its basic laws. This technology is such a route out of the trap. There are only 3 steps that a spiritual being needs to take, in order to free it from any trap. They are: 1. Realize that you are in a trap. 2. Discover the true nature of the trap. 3. Walk out of the trap. We see then, that the subject of traps is intimately connected to the subject of knowing. It is no accident that the basic goals package that governs life in this universe is to know. A partial list of non-life goals follows. Each of them has been tested and found to be intensely non-therapeutic, and non-erasable. To degrade. To destroy. To blame. To enslave. To hate. To drug. To trap. To lie. To cheat. To steal. There are many other non-life goals, but most will be found to be variations of the above list. A partial list of life goals follows. Each of them, in addition to the 2 no package, have been tested and found to be therapeutic and erasable. To create, to love, to admire, to enhance, to help, to feel, to control, to own, to have, to eat, to sex. They are also the perception packages. These are all within the 2 no leg of the basic package, and are therefore therapeutic and erasable. To see, to hear, to touch, to smell, to taste. Language purists who complain that the word sex is a noun in English are free to use the Anglo-Saxon 4-letter verb. It means the same thing. When working with goals packages, one quickly gets used to verbalizing nouns when simple verbs are not available in the language. After all, words are only symbols representing concepts, and when working solo we are free to use them however we please. Only when dealing with others do the meanings of the words have to be agreed upon. The main list of life goals, headed by 2 know and continuing with 2 create etc., form a scale of increasing condensation, or solidity. You will be able to write a book about what you will find as you erase each of these packages. I leave you to make your own discoveries. Quite apart from therapeutic considerations, as you erase the package, you will learn more about the subject matter of the package than you could ever learn by taking a course at a university in that subject. The list of life goals given are by no means a complete list of all possible goals of this class, but you will find that most others are variations of the ones listed. The list is certainly adequate to get you out of any type of compulsive game you have got yourself into in this universe. However, you may like to formulate your own life goals packages. A very useful trick when confronted with a non-life goal, and wishing to find the life goal in whose package it resides, is to take the opposite, not the opposition, of the goal and formulate it into a package. For example, the opposite of to destroy is regarded as to create. Formulate and run the to create package. To destroy can also be considered as the ultimate in hindrance, or non-help. So formulate and run the to help package. Both packages resolve compulsive destructive tendencies, as, indeed, do all life packages. Again, I would like to remind you that when formulating a goals package, be very sure that the legs bear the exact same relationship to each other as do the legs of the basic package, to know. You can waste hours, even years, trying to erase packages where the complementary legs are not exactly complementary, and the opposition legs are not exactly opposing. Consult a good dictionary when in doubt. Get it right before you start. It's always quicker in the long run. Here follow the complementary legs of the life goals listed. Their negative legs are obtained by adding the word not to the positive legs. To be created. To be loved. To be admired. To be enhanced. To be helped. To be felt. To be controlled. To be owned. To be had. To be eaten. To be sexed. The similar list for the perceptics packages is to be seen. To be heard. To be touched. To be smelt. To be tasted. To drink is a part of the to eat package. Thus, it too is a life goal and will erase. Its complementary leg is to be drunk. I mention it because it is a specific package for the resolution of alcoholism. If you can get the alcoholic to stop drinking for long enough to nail the package. Some life packages are shared in common with your body, for example to eat, to sex. As you erase them you can expect to experience passing body stimulation. It will pass away as the packages erase. But remember that even though you have erased one of these packages, and are free of the compulsions within it, your body will still be active with the package. For example, even though you have erased the 2-sex package, your body will still require sexual activity to remain healthy. Similarly with eating. It's the way the body is. It's a built-in part of its existence as a life form. You can be free of the compulsions within these packages, but your body never will be, and still remain a body. If you want a body that is free of the needs of food and sex, then I suggest you look around for a Mark 6 robot body. They are very popular in some parts of the galaxy, although they are not without their own peculiar maintenance and upkeep problems. This universe has been well described by physicists as a space-time continuum. It has 3 spatial dimensions, and 1 time dimension, at right angles to the 3 spatial ones. Although this concept is easy to handle mathematically, it is not easy to visualize, for once within the universe our minds become to some degree trapped within the 3 spatial dimensions, which leaves the 4th dimension a bit tricky to grasp. However, life can embrace a 4-dimensional continuum. If life could not embrace it, then life could not have created the idea of the universe in the first place. Even if it is considered that the universe was created by God, he too is considered as being alive. Indeed, this universe is within life, rather than life being within the universe. Only when we consider life to be a phenomena generated by the masses and spaces of the universe do we have any real difficulty in grasping the nature of the universe. This is the ultimate trap of materialism. We can get over the difficulty of conceiving of a 4-dimensional continuum very easily, by dropping one of the spatial dimensions. This leaves us with a model containing 2 spatial dimensions, and 1 time dimension. We can conceive of this very easily. Such a model is a cylinder, closed at one end, and open at the other. The 2 spatial dimensions of this tube are its cross-section. The time dimension is the length of the tube at right angles to the cross-section. The closed end of the tube is the beginning of the universe. The open end is now. As time passes, the tube gets longer. If we now imagine our tube to be populated with beings who can only easily perceive the 2 spatial dimensions, our model is complete. We, of course, being easily able to perceive in 3 dimensions, can see the whole tube. The beings in the tube, by their own creativity and games play, make time, and thus continuously extend the tube. We outside the tube, by observing them and seeing what they are doing, could easily predict the future of the tube. But if we were to enter the tube and agree to abide by the laws of the tube, that is to only perceive spatially in 2 dimensions, we too would become a tube dweller, and be limited accordingly. And this is precisely how a being gets into the real universe. He considers that such a game looks like fun, and pops into the tube. After a while he may well wonder how he is ever going to get out again. He gets out again by contacting and reviewing his decisions to go into agreement with the laws governing the tube. The basic law of our universe is that one will only know those things which are brought into existence to be known. Agreement with this law keeps us in the tube. It's as simple as that. As one continues to null the 2 no-goals package, one progressively frees up from the compulsion to be in the tube. Eventually one has regained one's freedom of choice in the matter of whether or not to stay in the tube. Now this tube we call the universe has been in existence for some 2 times 10 to the 14th power Earth years. 200,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000, 0.000 years. This is a long time when compared to an Earth year, but how long is it to a being who is outside the tube, and only needs to flip his attention from one end of the tube to the other? Not every being currently in the tube has been in it since the tube began. They have been drifting in, to see what the game is like, continuously, like children joining in an existing game of cowboys and Indians. Most have eventually become more or less trapped in the tube, as they lost cognizance of their true nature as spiritual beings, and of the basic law governing the tube. One of the many phenomena that stem from the basic law of this universe is that no matter when a being entered the tube, all of the past of the tube is available to him. His agreement to only know those things which have been brought into existence to be known, does not prevent him from knowing anything and everything that has ever happened in the tube, whether or not he was in the tube when the event happened. Because everything ever brought into existence in the tube is knowable by the basic law governing the tube, the being can know it. So you can know anything and everything that has ever happened in the past of this universe, but you cannot know what is going to happen in the future of this universe, because that has yet to be brought into existence to be known, and so by the basic law of the tube is unknowable. To know the future of the tube you have to go out of the tube, and out of agreement with the basic law of the tube. So you can know what has happened in the past of this universe, whether or not you were actually present when it happened. You can observe the fall of Carthage, the crucifixion of Christ, etc., but don't be surprised if the event turns out to be different from what is reported in the history books. Historians use a system of knowing, not direct knowing. By the use of systems of knowing, history becomes the common denominator of what people can agree upon as having happened, which can be, and often is, very different from what actually happened. As we know, people can and do assume the identities of well-known historical figures for the purposes of games play. This can and does become quite compulsive amongst certain types of personalities. We can predict that it would be most compulsive amongst the insane. And it is so. Any given insane asylum may have 5 Napoleons, 4 Christs and a couple of Genghis Khans. Where did they all learn so much about these identities, to be able to ape them so well? Need we ask? Are any of these insane people reincarnations of the originals? Probably not. But all of them have the native ability to know everything there is to know about the originals, by examining the past of this universe. Another aspect of the same phenomena is that any incident that occurred in the distant past of this universe can be found in the past of any being in the universe today. And it is ridiculously easy for the being to believe that he was actually involved in this incident, for he has no evidence to the contrary. Again then, we see the sheer futility of ransacking the past of this universe in search of the reasons why, for current behavior, the being has the whole history of this universe to draw upon, when he is a bit short of a convincing reason why for a postulate, and will not hesitate to do so when pressed. Clutching a cherished postulate to his bosom, he will happily and methodically relate any and all of it, to those who are stupid enough to search for the reasons why of his postulate. Only by resolving postulates in conflict, can the being be freed from the trap the universe has become for him. This is the subject of the goals package in general, and the to-know package in particular. End of addendum to theory section.